gonna make. I'm gonna try this. It's okay. So about looking, I wanna know the experience. How for you it was the experience that you have a gay series? I think just have 3 or 4 gay series, important gay series in the history of American television and British television. And I want to know for you, is a significant thing to have part of this series?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I liked about the concept of looking is that the idea was to make something very real and true, and not try to represent the whole gay community.
Of course.
Because I think that's impossible.
Yeah.
And it can be a mistake to try and do too much in that way. So it was really like focused on these particular characters from San Francisco who have a very specific sort of life there. Or really kind of, there's a real sort of San Francisco flavor that's very specific, but that would have like universal kind of ideas that people could relate to in the gay community and in the, you know, the wider community.
Yeah, for me, I think the difference from looking at other cities who talk about LGBT is kind of normal guys. Right. Just normal guys.
Yeah.
Not stereotypical and other things. Yeah.
Yeah. It was trying to go away from stereotypes. Just really like, you know, that one of our main creative guys, Andrew Haig, who's a filmmaker who made Weekend, such a beautiful film. I think.
Very fun.
That was one of we have our creator, Michael Lannon, who's also a wonderful man and really smart and talented. But I think one of the things that got us all very interested in working on Looking is that we knew Andrew Haig was going to be steering the ship, basically, and he's so smart and subtle, and we'd all loved his film Weekend. And so the idea was that he would bring that sort of sensibility of that film to the show. So we all knew that there was going to be this like intimacy and this kind of like honesty, like very kind of truthful, kind of real style to the show. Yeah. So
very story.
Yeah. So so there was that, and I just feel like, unfortunately, it's still rare to see that with gay characters or a completely, you know, gay-focused film or TV show that has, you know, LGBT characters that aren't in some way caricatures or stereotypes or whatever. Yeah. So to have a show fully about these, you know, gay characters and bring sort of a real kind of truthfulness and reality to them is so exciting, and I think important, and like it's also an interesting reflection, or a reflection of an interesting time in history for LGBT people, with marriage equality and all these things that were happening during the show. And even though the show was never meant to be kind of hitting you over the head with big kind of gay issues, those things are kind of woven into the story in a way that I think is going to be interesting to look back at. Those things that were
period of this time, the history, And did you like the ending for Dawn?
In the film?
Yeah, in the film.
Yeah, I did. You know, I mean, it was bittersweet for us doing the film because we all grew to love each other and we adored that show and making the show, and so, you know, we could have gone on for years. But at the same time, we were really fortunate to have a film to finish with. So, back to your question, I was happy where Dom ends up, but, you know, I would have loved to have, for him to find love at some point, you know, even for a second, just to kind of, because he comes from, messy relationships, kind of had a messy relationship during the show, and he's on his way to kind of finding himself more and figuring out what kind of relationship he wanted. So I would have loved to have seen him have that for a second. But one of the things I love about the film, and I think they did really well in writing the film, is that it really focused on these like incredibly beautiful friendships between these guys and their relationships.
Yeah, the final scene with Patrick is very nice.
Yeah, like really beautiful.
Yeah.
But there's it's such an intimacy between all of them, and it's such a kind of a celebration of friendship and a very specific friendship, intimate friendship between gay men. Like this, there's something very wonderful, I think, about friendships between gay men, because it tends to be open emotionally, and often friendships with gay men can start where you have sex or whatever, so you have this intimacy and then it becomes a friendship, so you have there's real depth in those friendships that are very specific, and
it's different with heterosexuals.
I think, usually, unfortunately, not always, but unfortunately, like there's not necessarily that kind of depth and openness, and so I really love seeing that on the screen, and I think the film did that very well.
So your next project, I see you're gonna make a participation on Nashville. Do you have any information you can say for us?
Yeah, I already started.
Oh, you're started.
So there's there was this year I've been because you do one thing and then you get offered things that are similar. So I was very mindful of I don't have a problem. I'd love to be part of to be a gay character in a show, but I also don't want to just do that. I want to do like a wide range of things. So I've been a little bit selective this year, just to have some variation. But then this role came up in Nashville, and there's a gay character in Nashville, and my character comes in as a love interest to him. And what I like about it is that that show has a completely different audience.
Yeah.
Like Looking has a very sort of captive audience, largely of gay people or people who are very open to, who are not, judgmental of gay people or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas
or openly, I
Nashville
think.
is like, it's country music and it's like America.
I imagine.
So I think in a way it's even not more important, but as important to have gay characters and stories in a show that's like very like mainstream. So I feel really excited about that we can bring some truth and honesty to this relationship and get to it, reach a completely different audience. Okay. So, I mean, it's just started, and I'm not sure how much I'll be on the show. I have 2 more episodes in the new year, which we'll shoot in January, February. But yeah. And
you don't start to making the Marvel series too, yeah?
The which one?
The Marvel.
I already done a couple of episodes.
Very sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any information? Because I look a lot of information for your character, but I don't find any information.
That show, all the Marvel shows are incredibly secretive.
Yes, for real. Yeah.
So even like working on the show, they don't give you a full script. They don't you have to sign all these agreements that you're not gonna like say things, and like I get like my scenes, and you're not allowed to print them out. Like it's very like
don't make any copy.
Yeah. So I can't tell you anything, or they'll have to kill me.
Okay, I know that.
But I have a really great. I can tell you my character's a psychiatrist, and it happens in a sort of a slightly scary psychiatric hospital, and it's really fun. I think it's really well made. So
it's a new experience for you.
Yeah. It was very different to something like Looking, which is so intimate. This is like a big production, and completely different kind of vibe. But it's fun. And
the last one I remember, I see yesterday the episode for Good Wife. I really love this series. Yeah.
Oh, I was on it for like a second.
Yeah, a second, but. You make other scenes in that episode? Or
no, it's just like...
Just that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame because I really love the series.
I know, me too. I would love to be... But because I love the show, and I was
Julia McGarry is marvelous, yeah.
Yeah, and the actresses that I had my scene with were so wonderful. So I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna do this.
Kind of boyfriend.
Yeah,
you can go.
yeah.
Okay.
Boy toy.
So now change the subject. São Paulo is not your first time in Brazil, I know that.
Yeah.
But I want to know what 3 things you like in São Paulo, because your first time here, I think, yeah? São Paulo is your first time, Brazil
It's
no.
not my first time, but I came very briefly, like a long time ago.
Have 3 things you like it?
3 things that I like.
Generals, not specific. You can say generals.
Well, I mean, the thing that I remember my first time in Brazil is, this is going to sound very cliche, but I always met really great people here. It's like this. I come from a very Anglo background, so it's like it feels very warm and friendly, and
everybody hug. Everybody hug and
and I feel like at home in that. So so it's like in that way it's like coming home, I guess.
Really nice. You try any food or any club or anything? Nightlife or bars and
a little bit.
museums.
We went to this bar last night. Well, actually, I can't remember what it's called. But
it's called Loca.
But we didn't make it to Loca.
No, Barda Loca is
Barda Loca. Yeah. I love this
that kind of gay area.
Yeah. But I love this idea of being in a bar that's kind of like it feels sort of like a corner deli where you get beer and you can stand out on the street and everyone's, you can't do that in the US, you can't do that in Australia really, a little bit I guess, but in the US it's very strict, so it's nice to be hanging out in the street, you can walk down the street drinking a beer, it's very feels very relaxed and nice. I really love the weather here.
The weather?
I love the heat. I like that it rains and you feel the heat kind of build and then it rains and it releases.
Now the temperature's gone.
Yeah, I love this. I really like the architecture here.
Yeah.
It's what's the building that we went in the park that has that big red thing?
Is Auditorium Ibirapuera. Auditorium Ibirapuera. Is the auditorium from the park? Yeah.
With the big red.
Yeah, the big red. Yeah. It's just Oscar Niemeyer Auditorium.
Yeah. It's this is amazing. Avenida Paulista is really beautiful to me. It could be very ugly. I feel like I live in New York, and there's some areas of New York where they just put up these really ugly modern buildings, and it's sad because there's such beautiful architecture in New York, but a lot of the modern buildings are not very nice, and I don't see that so much here in this section of the city. Am I wrong in that? I feel like I like it. I like the way it looks.
Yeah, we have different types of factor.
Right.
Different influences, I think, too.
Yeah.
So, and the last one is about Mix Brazil. You're now here for the jury. You're gonna see a lot of movies.
Yeah.
And I want to know about your experience in the mix. Is your first time you're invited for the jury? Yeah. And if you have any Brazilian films you just see, or you want
I haven't seen any yet in the festival.
For this festival,
No, I haven't seen any yet in the festival because some of the films haven't yet have subtitles, so I'm waiting for the ones that have subtitles.
Okay.
But I'm really excited. I've been on a jury once before, and I love it because I love watching films, so it's kind of heaven for me. Yeah. But also being here because I'm on the jury for Brazilian short films. So it's so exciting to see what's happening in a country in film, and it's such a great way to get a little window into it with shorts, because it's really filmmakers that are often emerging filmmakers, and it's very fresh and new, and it's a great way, I think, to get a feeling of what's happening in film. So really. And
outside of the festival, did you see any Brazilian film in your life?
Oh yeah.
And you like
I mean,
it?
the one that comes to mind is, maybe this is a cliche, Central Station.
Yes, Central Station.
So beautiful, and I'm
The Oscar,
embarrassed to say
Oscar indication, yeah.
that she should have won.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, Gwyneth
Well,
Paltrow got that.
oh
Gwyneth
my
Paltrow
God.
got that.
I mean, there was Kate Blanchett as well. I think was nominated that
Yeah.
year. But I'm embarrassed to say I can't. remember.
Fernanda Montenegro.
I mean, she's
She's very nice.
a goddess.
I think she's the most important actress for the moment in Brazil.
She's phenomenal. So, but you know.
Any other movie
Oh my God, there's nothing that's
or
coming to
series?
mind.
I don't know. I don't think you see any series from Brazil.
No, I haven't. It's very difficult to access series from.
Now
Brazil.
you're gonna have some series in Netflix, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
They have, because I think the subtitles kind of difficult. Sure.
Right.
Yeah. No subtitles is good.
Yeah.
Not so good.
But you know, hopefully after the festival, I'll have like many like favorite Brazilian films.
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Okay, pleasure.